పబ్లిక్ పాలసీలో అడ్వాన్స్డ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ ప్రోగ్రాం 8వ బ్యాచ్ను మంత్రి కేటీఆర్ ప్రారంభించారు. వివిధ రాష్ట్రాల విజయవంతమైన విధానాల నుంచి కేంద్రం అంతర్దృష్టిని పొందాలని ఖట్టర్ అన్నారు. సమర్థవంతమైన అభ్యాసాల నుండి నేర్చుకోవడం మొత్తం పురోగతికి గొప్పగా దోహదపడుతుందని మొహాలీలోని ఇండియన్ స్కూల్ ఆఫ్ బిజినెస్లో పబ్లిక్ పాలసీ 8వ బ్యాచ్లో అడ్వాన్స్డ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ ప్రోగ్రాంను ప్రారంభించిన సందర్భంగా కేటీఆర్ అన్నారు.
Enrolled in the program, I see lots of officers from Indian Administrative Service, Revenue Service, Military Service, and I also see one of our MLAs actually. Yes, he's right here. He's one of our MLAs, and please don't for a minute think that I knew he was here. I had no idea that he was part of this program till I actually saw the list. So thank you, Dean, for having me. Thank you, Professor Ashwini, that for inviting me here. I've been to the campus in Hyderabad, the ISB campus in Hyderabad, several times. We actually run several programs with them. But this is my first visit to Mohali, first visit to Chandigarh. First visit to Mohali, not Chandigarh. Actually, I've been here before. Thank you for this opportunity. I am a very informal person. My name is Ram. For those of you who have thinking, who the hell is this guy? Why is the Dean praising him so much? Let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Ram. Full name is long. I'm a South Indian, so our names typically are longer. Full name is KT Ramarao. I have just to give you a bit of background, I have a master's degree in biotech from Pune University. I have a master's degree in management from New York. I've studied for a bit in New York, and I went to school there, and I also worked in the US for a bit, about 8 years. Then came back to India in 2004, worked here for 2 years. I actually was heading South Asia for my company. And then eventually in 2006, I joined public life, politics. One thing led to another. I was part of the Telangana agitation. Eventually in 2009, I was given an opportunity to run for legislature and got elected for the first time. Since then, I won 4 elections on a trot and have been a minister for 9 years now. I look after some important departments, industry, commerce, information technology, urban development, and handlooms and textiles as well. So I'm here to talk about the growth story of this new state called Telangana, which was formed in 2014. For those of you who are uninitiated, for those of you who are unaware, as you all know, in India, unfortunately, we don't really have a scientific scheme or scientific method when it comes to the formation of new states. Back in 1952, when the first Indian government was formed, the first States Reorganization Commission was formed. They had recommended that language be the basis of formation of new states, and eventually that led to formation of 14 states. But since 1956 till 2001, another 13 states were created. So in the case of Telangana, just to give you a bit of context, we have in fact been a princely state called as the Hyderabad state. So today, the current Telangana state, plus a few regions in Maharashtra, Parbani, Lathur, Aurangabad, Nanded, etc., and a few regions in Karnataka, Bidar, Raichur, Gulbarga, etc., etc. All this was the erstwhile princely state of Hyderabad. But after the formation of new states, Telangana, in fact, was demanding for several decades to be wanting to be a separate state. There were a lot of battles, a lot of agitations, a lot of struggles, etc., etc. Eventually, the cookie had to crumble at some point. In 2014, when our current Chief Minister, Shri KTR, he led the movement, he led the agitation for about 14 long years, from 2001 until 2014, till the Union government conceded and the new state came into being. Now, this state, like I said, was a result of a protracted struggle, a lot of sacrifices, etc., etc. So, what happened? I guess, when you actually see such long fraught battle, and when you see a state actually becoming a reality, you would hope that things have started moving and some good is being done for people. So in the last 9 years, the one thing I keep saying wherever I go is that my state, Telangana, is actually the most successful startup of independent India. Now, for those of you who are here in a business school, you would absolutely need to understand why I would say it, how I would back it up with. In 2014, when the new state of Telangana was formed, our per capita was about 112,000 rupees, 1,12,000. 31st this year, It's the highest in the country. It is now 3,17,000 rupees. And just to contextualize and put things in perspective, back in 2014, India's per capita as a country was about 75,000, subject to correction. For those of you who are trigger happy, I don't want you to get me wrong. And then now, as on today, it's about 149 odd thousand. But Telangana, on the other hand, is 317,000, 3,17,000. Our GSDP was 5,05,000 crores in 2014. And as of 31st March this year, it's 13.27 lakh crore. The per capita rise, the GSDP rise is one thing. But what we've done truly is, if I have to summarize, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji had called for a meeting about 2.5 years ago in Delhi. This was, I think, prior to COVID, slightly prior to COVID. He wanted to call all the representatives of various political parties in India, and he wanted a perspective on how to celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. He also wanted some inputs of what to do for 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi ji. He also wanted inputs on how India should become a first world country by 2047. I was probably the youngest guy in the group. We had Naveen Patnaik ji, we had Sharad Pawar ji, we had a lot of thespians, we had a lot of senior guys who've seen the world, for a longer time than I have. I was initially a bit apprehensive whether or not to be candid because, I was given a written speech. I didn't really know whether to stick to it or probably deviate and speak my mind. It was a closed door meeting. So I took the liberty. I asked the Prime Minister, sir, could I speak candidly? And since it's an in-camera meeting, and by the way, disclaimer, we don't get along with the Prime Minister. We are not on the same side. Disclaimer. So, therefore, I was apprehensive. I asked him. He said, okay, बोलिए. तो मैंने उनसे कहा कि सर अगर आपको सच्ची में, if in reality, truly, if you want India to be a truly liberated first world country, मैं तो ये मानता हूँ सर, मैंने थोड़ा दुनिया देखा है इधर उधर, मैंने भी पढ़ाई की है और थोड़ा बहुत मैंने सीखा भी है दुनिया से. जब भी हम बाहर जाते हैं वापस आते हैं वेस्टर्न कंट्री या कहीं और बाहर जाके वापस आते हैं, बहुत दुख महसूस होता है, एक मिक्स्ड फीलिंग महसूस होता है. खुशी इस बात की होती है कि घर वापस आ रहे हैं, बट दुख इस बात का होता है कि आप जब मलेशिया जाके आते हैं तब भी लगता है कि यार क्या हो रहा है, ये भी आगे निकल गया हमसे, दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ अ थिंग. सो ही लाफ्ड, ही सेड ओके, तो बताइए क्या करना है. तो आई सेड सर, आई बिलीव दैट इंडिया नीड्स टू टेक अप the 3I mantra. He said, what is that? I said, innovation, infrastructure, inclusive growth. If you actually latch onto this mantra, innovate, create infrastructure, and continue on the path of inclusivity, then India will truly achieve its desire to be a first world country. A lot of you here in this room, who worked in the government or otherwise, would know this. When I say innovation, the first thing that pops into your mind, I'm sure, is a startup. कि कोई यंग लड़का है या लड़की है, कुछ कर रही हैं, कंप्यूटर पे कुछ कर रहे हैं या कुछ कोशिश कर रहे हैं. But innovation is not just about technology. Innovation need not only happen in a business school or a university ecosystem. Innovation is about our day-to-day lives and how we can actually disrupt legacy processes and how we can reinvent and how we can actually come out with something truly unique. In Telangana, we've done that. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a couple of examples. So, in Telangana, the first piece of legislation we have enacted, please tell me when I'm overshooting time because, politicians are in love with Mike. We can talk and talk and talk. I spoke for 2 hours in the assembly the other day. Of course, my people tell me I speak well, but others might not agree. Anyways, please tell me. So, the first piece of legislation that we have enacted in Telangana, 2014 November, is called as TS iPass. It's modeled on the lines of Easy Pass, the toll, if you have been to the US or another country, or even our tolls here, the fast pass, the fast track kind of a thing. What does TS iPass stand for? It's iPass of the Telangana State Industrial Project Approval Self-Certification System. I'll just give you 3 salient features of this innovative policy. The first piece is, in Telangana, you actually don't need a clearance from the government to start your enterprise. Say you wanted to start the construction of your factory. you can hit the ground running. If you have a piece of land that is already owned by you or allotted to you, you can start construction of your factory on day one without meeting a minister, a secretary, or even the local panchayat or municipality. This is backed by statute. This is backed by legislation. In case you think this is difficult, let me tell you. The second salient feature. All we need from you, as an investor, is once you start the construction, we request that you submit all the information online to us on the TS iPass portal for regulatory purposes, for compliance. We need to know who you are, what kind of line you're engaged in, how many people would you be employing, what kind of taxes can we expect from you, and other things, your line of activity, say red, orange, green category, etc., etc. When we receive that information online, we promise all clearances in 15 days, flat. This is again by statute. If we don't deliver on the 15-day window, on the 16th day, it's an automatic approval. And the third thing I'll tell you, those of you who are IAS officers in this room, let me tell you, Telangana is truly a unique state, a very innovative state. Even if you are a senior IAS officer, we have the luxury, we have the authority to levy a penalty of rupees 1,000 per day if you are held responsible for holding up a file beyond the 15-day window that is stipulated. So these three things is what makes Telangana's policy extremely unique. Now, in case you're thinking, this guy is a politician, how do I trust him? Let me tell you. We gave out more than 24,000 clearances in the last 8 years. We have raised more than $50 billion of investment to Telangana. And most importantly, we created more than 2.4 million, 24 lakh direct job potential in our state. That has catapulted us to the top of the league on the ease of doing business rankings, which are given by Government of India and the World Bank together. In case you're wondering, again, what are the prime examples of the success we've had? Let me tell you a couple of narratives, couple of things. Life sciences has been our strength in Telangana and Hyderabad. In fact, since we just got out of COVID, we're still living the nightmares of it. We still keep hearing about people dropping dead here, there, right? Did you know that 1/3 of global vaccines, human vaccines, are produced from my city, my state, Telangana and Hyderabad? 33%. 9 billion doses, 900 crore doses of vaccines are produced from Hyderabad, which makes it 33% of global vaccine production, making us the vaccine capital. We have consolidated on that strength. We have consolidated, and now we're building so much that by next year, it will be 14 billion doses, and we'll be 50% of world vaccine production. Now, if you're anybody from Pune? Nobody from Pune? All right, so if you go to Pune, somebody will tell you that Serum Institute produces a lot of vaccines. Yes, they do. But we have 4 institutes in Hyderabad, not one. We have Bharat Biotech, we have Biological Evans, we have Sanofi, we have Indian Immunologicals. Now even Serum is coming into Hyderabad. Between 4 of these, we produce this kind of number. Why am I mentioning this? Because you will be surprised that a lot of strengths that India has, a lot of strengths that Indian states have, we really do not know. Did you know, again, that the largest number of US FDA approved manufacturing facilities for any province in the world, any state in the world, is in Telangana? We have 214 US FDA approved manufacturing facilities. The second largest is in New Jersey, United States, with 189. So that's Telangana for you in life sciences. That is one sector. Now most of you, anybody from Bangalore? Nobody from Bangalore. अच्छा आप हो? क्यों चुप रहे थे यार? नहीं मजाक कर रहा हूँ. So lot of people, when we say technology, when we mention technology, think of Bangalore. They think Bangalore is the IT capital of India. Well, sorry to say this, my friend, we are not. You are not. The reason why I say this is because last 2 years, we've beaten Bangalore fair and square in job creation. Last year, out of the 450,000 new jobs created in India, in technology alone, 150,000 were from Hyderabad. This is not my data. This is NASSCOM. That was 33% last year. This year, in fact, it's even more impressive. It's 44% of total tech jobs created in India coming from one city alone, that's Hyderabad. Now, just to juxtapose and tell you how well the city has grown, how well the state has grown. In 2014, the total number of jobs in technology that were in Hyderabad directly is about 3,23,000. As of March 31st this year, it's 915,000. So the explosive growth from 323,000 to 9,15,000 happened despite COVID, despite demonetization. Our IT exports from Telangana and Hyderabad were 56,000 crore in 2014. Now it's 2,41,000 crores, 400% plus growth. The number of employees have increased by 300%. The exports have risen by 400%. Therefore, the per capita, the GSDP, and everything else, of course, which is a byproduct of this, has also happened. Let me also add one more thing here. In technology, we have not only grown numbers of employees or exports. How many of you in this room can tell me where Amazon's world's largest campus is? It's in Hyderabad, not Seattle. It's a 3.1 million square foot facility located in Hyderabad. Next time you are in ISB Hyderabad campus in November, I urge you to actually visit Amazon. I can even arrange for that. Google, Apple, Facebook, now called Meta, Microsoft, Micron, Qualcomm, Salesforce, Uber, Novartis, ZF, I can go on, the list is long. All of their second largest campuses in the world, outside of their headquarters, are in Hyderabad, not in Bangalore. The world's largest technology incubator, which I urge you please have them visit this when you're in Hyderabad, called the T-Hub, is in Hyderabad. It's the world's largest tech incubator, also rated as the best incubator in India by NITI and by Government of India's DPIIT. India's largest prototyping facility, called as T-Works, is also in Hyderabad. India's only women entrepreneurs hub, called as V-Hub, is also in Hyderabad. All of these ecosystem products that have been created by the government, all the things that I've just mentioned, and there's plenty more I can mention. There's an institution called as Task, which is for skilling. There's an institution called Rich, which tries to bring about a collaboration between academia, industry, and the list goes on. All of these have been built by the government. The government played the role of an enabler. So we have taken the whole of the ecosystem approach and have tried to do as much as we can. So therefore, our IT sector is booming, our life sciences sector is booming. Now we've launched what is called as Telangana Mobility Valley. We're looking at sustainable mobility. We're looking at shared mobility. See, today, the life sciences ecosystem that you see in Hyderabad is definitely a product of something that happened 20 years ago, something that was called as Genome Valley. We would like to replicate something very similar in the mobility ecosystem with the advent of Telangana Mobility Valley. I can go on, there's plenty of things I can tell you, but I'll only tell you two more things. Not only in the high-tech sector, we also are a leader in aerospace and defense. Did you know that American President Joe Biden's helicopter cabin is also made in Hyderabad? Sikorsky is the name of the company. They make their cabins there. Not only Sikorsky, Apache makes its helicopter fuselages, GE makes its engines, and there's several other companies, even Lockheed Martin, they've come out with their 200th C-15, C-16, C-135s empennage yesterday, in fact, day before yesterday. So there are three very important verticals with respect to industry in Hyderabad. One, IT, two, life sciences, three, aerospace and defense. There's plenty of others. In the hinterland of Telangana, in the rural area of Telangana, we have done something truly interesting and truly impressive, equally impressive. You have, I presume, seen or have at least heard of Kaleshwaram. Have you had a chance to look at it? Did you all know, we talk about Chinese, their projects, their ability to execute projects quickly. People talk about Three Gorges. People talk about multiple other things that the Chinese have done, 100-story building in 100 days and things like that. This project, called Kaleshwaram, is the world's largest lift irrigation project. It is not anywhere outside of India. It's very much within India. It's in Telangana, and we've completed it flat in 4 years. This acres of land. It also supplies drinking water to a metropolis like Hyderabad. It also, earmarks about 10% of its water for industrial consumption as well. What is special about Kaleshwaram? If you look at the topography of Telangana, it's a very undulating topography. The two rivers, the two important rivers, Krishna and Godavari, both of which originate in Maharashtra, come down to Telangana, and from Telangana they flow into Andhra. From Andhra they flow into the ocean. Now, the interesting thing about the terrain in Telangana is, the water of these two rivers actually run at about 80 and 100 meters above sea level. But the terrain of Telangana and the uplands in Telangana are above 200 and above, meters above sea level. Hyderabad, for instance, is at 535 meters above sea level. And the highest mount in Telangana is 675 meters above sea level. So the only way for us to pump water and irrigate our barren fields, our parched fields, is by way of lifting the water, and through multiple stages of, powerhouses, pump houses, powered by heavy-duty pumping stations, we can lift water and irrigate the entire area. Now, what has Kaleshwaram done? I'm sure as a business student, as a student interested in understanding public financing, as a student interested in understanding how land acquisition was made, etc., there are a lot of interesting insights there. But what's even more impressive is the outcome of Kaleshwaram. What it has done is it has catapulted Telangana from 24th spot among Indian states in terms of paddy production, 24th, to number 1 spot this year, single-handed. We have recently crossed Punjab and Haryana, which is where we are seated. That's why I wanted to be here. I wanted to say to the Punjab press just to get a kick out of it, but missing them here. Any which ways, just wanted to rub it in. That's the one thing it has done. The second thing Kaleshwaram has done has shown the world what can be done if a government sets its mind to getting things done. In India, typically, we have had a project in Telangana called as Sri Ram Sagar project. The foundation was laid by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru in 1963. It did not get completed till 2014. You see prime ministers changing, chief ministers falling off their chair and also passing away. But things don't move, unfortunately. But in Telangana, things move, things happen quickly. And within 4 years, our chief minister was able to deliver a project which cost 100,000 crores, 1 lakh crore, in 4 years, flat, and zero contribution from Modi ji. Let me also add that. So public finance and how to raise money as a state is a unique project. So next time, as an officer, as a student, or even as an entrepreneur, you're trying to raise finances, please keep this in mind. If Telangana can do it, you can do it too. I also wanted to mention, just to give you a scale of the project, the earth that was moved for this project, you could build 66 pyramids of Giza with the kind of earth we've moved. The kind of steel that was used, you could build 53 Burj Khalifas. 53 Burj Khalifas. I can go on, the list is long, some very, very interesting anecdotal statistics. The point is, governments in India can get stuff done, And let me also quickly add, what Kaleshwaram and other irrigation projects in Telangana also have done is have created a ripple effect. In India, politicians keep talking about doubling farmers' income. That's a favorite theme, recurring theme. Every prime minister, every chief minister, every politician says, मैं किसान का क्या बोलते हैं, इनकम को क्या बोलते हैं हिंदी में? मैं जो भी बोलते हैं, इनकम डबल कर देंगे, आमदनी डबल करेंगे, चलो दुगना करेंगे, राइट? बट होता नहीं है. बात बहुत कुछ कहते हैं, सुनने को तो बहुत मिलता है, अच्छे अच्छे जुमले मिलते हैं, होता कुछ नहीं है. क्यों? क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली फोकस, अल्टीमेटली गेम प्लान ठीक नहीं है. बट तेलंगाना में हमने, एंड यू कैन चेक, सी वॉट एवर आई एम सेइंग हियर, आई एम अप फॉर स्क्रूटिनी. You guys are all very smart. You guys all have access to information. Some of you are in the government, so you can always definitely push back and challenge me. The point I'm trying to make is, we have ushered in 5 revolutions in Telangana, in the rural hinterland. The first thing, of course, is a green revolution. Our paddy production has risen from 68 lakh metric tons in 2014 to now 3.5 crore metric tons. We're number 1 in the country in paddy production. Our cotton production has quintupled, and so has other sectors. So green revolution has been ushered. In fact, I'll tell you an interesting story here. So I was in Minnesota a few years ago. I'm a minister for industry, so I go around, travel for promoting my state and my country. So I met with the governor of Minnesota. For those of you who are familiar with the US, Minnesota is called the land of 10,000 lakes. So I met the governor. I told him, sir, you're called the land of 10,000 lakes, but my state has 46,000 lakes. He was zapped. He said, really? Is that true? I said, yes. Unfortunately, these 46,000 lakes and tanks have been neglected. After our government took office, we've revived them, we've strengthened them, and as a result today, Telangana is the #1 state for inland fisheries. We're the #1 state for inland fisheries, ushering in a blue revolution. The third thing I'll tell you, we've also, in fact, we have a government company, government dairy, called as Vijaya Dairy. Now, Vijaya was in losses when we took office, but we started giving an incentive of 4 rupees to the dairy farmers to supply milk, to the government dairy. And as a result today, we have not only turned it around, they started paying as a dividend now. More than 38 crores of dividend is being paid by the Vijaya Dairy to the government because we are the principal owner of that. So we have ushered in a white revolution by way of that. There's some more that can be done. The fourth thing we have done in the rural area, we've actually started a sheep rearing program, a massive one with 11,000 crore. What that has done essentially again is, has doubled our livestock in the state, resulting in not only livestock doubling, but an opportunity to create a meat processing industry, also known as the pink revolution. And the fifth one I'll tell you, India imports nearly 78% of its edible oils. In Telangana, we wanted to change that. So we have set an ambitious target for ourselves over the next 5 years. We are going to be raising oil palm cultivation in about 20 lakh acres in the next 5 years. We're already on the way. We have covered 2 lakhs in the first year. Now we are on course to making a yellow revolution unfold in Telangana. The 5 revolutions: green, blue, white, pink, yellow. This is what will double the farmer's income. Not mere sloganeering, not mere posturing, etc., etc. So what we have decided as a strategy is, for the cities in Hyderabad, like Hyderabad, Warangal, Khammam, Karimnagar, we will ensure that the technology industry, the knowledge economy, is given a priority, is given a boost. Likewise in the hinterland, agriculture. Now we are setting up food processing zones. Special food processing zones in about 10,000 acres, 15 different locations, where we will be encouraging agro-based industries, we'll be encouraging food processing industries, etc., etc. I can give you many other examples, but I'll confine myself to this and tell you this. If the rest of India were to perform as well as we did, why do I call my state the most successful startup of independent India? If the rest of India in the last 9 years had performed as well as we did, we would have already been a 5 trillion economy without any excuses. No COVID, no demonet, no nothing. So the point is, we are a performing state, and this, by the way, also, despite any support, For those of you who are wondering, what about the macro picture vis-a-vis India? Let me tell you, we are less than 2.5% of India's population. We are a smaller state. We are the 12th largest. In terms of population, if you look at it, we are the size of Malaysia. In terms of geography, we are the size of South Korea. But in terms of our contribution to India's GDP, we are 2.5% of India, but we contribute to 5% of India's GDP. So every 1 rupee we pay in taxes to Government of India, we get about 45 paisa back. But nevertheless, we never complain. We are happy to contribute to the growth of this great country, great nation. But we feel pinched when we have the Union Finance Minister coming in and asking us questions like, हमने आपको इतना दिया या मोदी जी का तस्वीर क्यों नहीं लगाया आपने पीडीएस के शॉप में? थोड़ा दुख होता है. But having conclude by saying, this is a state that's a shining example on how stable government and able leadership can change things in India, can turn around the sectors which were hitherto called sick, can also do a fine balance of both rural, urban. Our environment, by the way, has grown by 7.7%. Our forest cover, green cover, has grown by 7.7%. If one were to ask me in one line, if you have to sum up the Telangana model, I'd say it's a holistic, integrated, balanced, and inclusive model. What do I mean? We are 2.5% of India, but we win 30% of National Panchayat awards. We are 2.5% of India, but we win more than 26 awards in Swachh Sarvekshan for municipalities. So there's a fine balance of rural development and urban development. Our industry is growing, so is our environment. Our IT exports are growing, so are our agri exports. So this is the kind of model that India needs if it really has to propel itself into the first world, if it really has to become a truly developed country which respects all faiths, which does not discriminate its people based on their skin color, based on their sex, based on their religion or social class. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Jai Hind, Jai Telangana. Yes, ma'am.
You said that for non-performing bureaucrats, there is that you've come up with a plan of 1,000 rupees fine for every day of delay. What about non-performing politicians?
Non-performing politicians are kicked out, ma'am. 5 साल के बाद हमें they will get the boot and we are kicked out any which ways.
No, no. What does the government do for them? I mean,
And
how
for-
does it make sure that they work?
Ma'am, the thing is, see, once you have written an exam, UPSC, and you've come into the field, come into the service, you are there till retirement. You know exactly in what capacity you're going to retire. As Special Chief Secretary or Chief Secretary or Cabinet Secretary, right? But in the case of us, who have joined politics, we really don't know. So we perform. See, I've been elected.
How has it managed in every field to do so well?
The thing is, see, our Chief Minister is a taskmaster. You know, when you talk, see, I was reeling out a lot of statistics you may have noticed. I'll give you an example. So I went to meet a Chief Minister. Again, naming names is not a good idea. एक 7 साल पहले एक चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब ने मुझे बुलाया. उनको अच्छा लगा ये वाटर ग्रिड प्रोजेक्ट. उन्होंने मुझे बुलाया, खाना वाना खिलाया, बैठ गए हम लोग. तो मैंने उनसे पूछा, सर आपका अर्बन रूरल पॉपुलेशन का ब्रेकअप क्या है? वो तब तक ऑलरेडी 3 साल चीफ मिनिस्टर रह चुके हैं. उनको नहीं पता था. उन्होंने अपने चीफ सेक्रेटरी की तरफ देखा, बोला चीफ साहब कितना है? चीफ ने उसके सेक्रेटरी को देखा. तो क्या होता है ना, आपका अगर बॉस टास्क मास्टर है, बॉस का स्टैंडर्ड एक लेवल पे है, तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपको भी अपना गेम एलिवेट करना पड़ेगा उनके सामने बोलने के लिए. तो हमारी हालत है कि आज हमारे चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब के सामने अगर हम कुछ बोलना है हमें, या कुछ प्रेजेंटेशन देना है, या कुछ पूछना है, वी हैव टू बी सर्कमस्पेक्ट, वी हैव टू बी प्रिपेयर्ड. एंड नॉर्मली हमारे सीएम इतने बड़े टास्क मास्टर है, वी ऑल गो प्रिपेयर्ड इनटू अ रिव्यू, लाइक फुली प्रिपेयर्ड, हम लोग बहुत पढ़ के जाते हैं. बट the first question typically is always out of syllabus. Always, inevitably. Then we go back scratching our heads ki yaar kya ho gaya, बेइज्जती हो गई, फिर वापस. So what happens is, if your leader is actually smart, if your leader has that ability in him, see, leadership is not about shouting at people or being a taskmaster or fining or sacking or throwing them out or sending them to Andaman or things like that. Leadership is about ensuring that you elevate your standards, you elevate your skill, you elevate your game, as and when it is decided. And the last thing I'll tell you, ma'am, honestly, since you asked about politicians, politics is always about one thing, ma'am, and success in politics is always about one thing. It's if you're able to, as a leader, as a politician, offer the hope that your tomorrow is going to be better than today under my leadership, then people are going to vote for me. If you're able to offer that hope. Like they say, a leader is a dealer in hope. So if you're able to give that hope, raise that interest in the people, then you're going to survive, you're going to come back. Or else 5 साल के बाद धक्का मार के निकाल दिया जाओगे और घर बैठना पड़ेगा.